make your first YouTube video, first of all, there's a few things you're going to need, starting with a camera. Now, your camera could look a little bit something like this right here, or it could be as simple as your cell phone. Honestly, when you're first starting out, I would recommend starting with your phone or just whatever camera you have, because it's better to hurry up and get started so that you can get the ball rolling and start learning rather than waiting till you have the perfect equipment. You can always upgrade in the future. The next thing you'll need is a subject, something to film, probably yourself. You'll also need a place to film your video. Now, you can use pretty much any room, or you could even do this outside, but you need to choose a spot where you're going to film, preferably a space where you can be a bit away from the wall or the background so you can have some depth in your shot, and also ideally a space that isn't very cluttered. And then the last absolute essential you'll need is some source of light. Light makes a huge difference in the quality of your video. The more light, the better, pretty much. You want to have the most diffused soft light you can. You don't want any harsh light because that creates harsh shadows. So you could use something just like a lamp, or you could use a window, which is a great option for your first video, or you could use something a little fancier like a ring light. But whatever light source you are using, you just want to make sure that, again, it is as diffused or as spread out and even as possible. And now for a few things that are nice to have but not totally essential. One of them would be a tripod. So you need some way to support your camera. Now, you don't have to have a tripod. You could put your camera on a bookshelf or on a stack of books or on a windowsill. Windowsills can be a great option if you're already using the window for light. But a tripod can make things simpler, make your life a lot easier. You can pick one up for about 20 bucks. It definitely won't be amazing, but it will get the job done. Another thing that's really nice to have, and you probably already have, is some sort of soft thing like a blanket, like some pillows, something like that, or even just like padded chairs. But surround yourself with soft things, because that will make the audio quality in your videos much, much better. And the final thing that's kind of optional and kind of totally not is a microphone. Now, obviously you need a microphone to record the sound in your videos, but probably whatever camera you're using, even your cell phone, is obviously going to have a built-in microphone, so that part's taken care of. But what is optional but nice to have is some sort of external microphone. For this, you can get a little lav mic that attaches to your shirt, like this one right here, or you can have a shotgun mic that mounts on top of your camera, or you can attach a shotgun mic or other similar mic to a boom pole and have it right up close to your face, which can create a really nice effect. Again, start with what you have. Don't let your equipment hold you back. All you really need is a camera, yourself, a place to film, and a little bit of light, and you can go ahead and make your first video. So now let's talk about how you're actually going to get this done. It all starts with a plan, and well-laid plans truly create much better videos. So I want you to spend as much time, if not far more time, creating the plan for your first video than you do actually filming the video. So you don't have to have something elaborate. It can be as simple as a simple bullet point, but you want to think it all the way through and make sure that your video has some structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end, so that people can follow along and get some real value out of it, or some real entertainment. You definitely don't have to plan every word that you're going to say. In fact, I find that that tends to make first videos a lot more difficult and a lot more awkward when you're trying to read a script or read a teleprompter or anything like that. So just use a simple bullet point. It's okay if your words aren't perfectly polished, if you got some pauses, some ums, some uhs. No matter at all, you can edit a lot of that out, and you will get better with every additional video you do. But the way to get better is to really just speak naturally and not try to read a script to sound perfect. Once you have your plan, you're getting close to filming your video, and so it's time to get yourself ready. So there are different things you might want to do to improve your appearance. Maybe you want to put on some makeup or do your hair. Maybe you want to choose a nice looking shirt. It doesn't matter that much, but you want to make yourself look as good as you reasonably can, because think about it. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people are going to watch this video. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, but you're putting yourself out there. It's kind of like you're stepping on a stage. So So take a few minutes at least to get yourself looking presentable. And now it's time to set up to actually film the video. So you're gonna put your camera on your tripod or your bookshelf or your windowsill. You're gonna set it up so that it is aiming at where you are going to sit or whatever the subject is that you're going to film. And then you're gonna position your light so that your subject is nicely lit. Like I said, you normally want that light to be at an angle pointing at your subject or pointing at your face so that you can light your face very nicely, and make sure that you do a balance between the lights. If you just have one really strong light coming in from one side, you're gonna have some harsh shadows and things will look a little bit wonky. So you wanna make sure that you have some balance. So for example, a lamp on one side and a window on the other, and ideally all the light is about the same color. So you want to avoid having like a really yellow light bulb and then having cool light coming in from the window. Now you can get around this by simply only having one light source, like just a window, but if you do add a second light source, make sure that it's a really similar color to the first. Next, as part of setting up, you are going to frame your shot. Now basically what this means is just that you are going to position your camera in a specific way, specific place, specific angle, so that your subject is in the right place in your shot. So for example, you might want your subject to be centered, or you might want to have your subject on one of the third lines. Most of the time for YouTube videos, it's someone talking to the camera and they are centered because we want it to feel natural and conversational. And that's generally how we talk to people in real life, is we face them and we are centered with them. And now it's time to actually film the video. And for most people filming their first YouTube video, this is going to be them talking to the camera. Now there are other ways you can do this. You could, instead of just talking to the camera, you could record other footage of things that are happening, and then you could record a voiceover instead of having this talking headshot that you're seeing right now. So you'll need to think about exactly how you want to do that, whether you want your face to be on camera or not. But again, most obvious option would just be to sit down and talk to the camera. The next step is to get a few more additional extra shots. So these are typically called B-roll, and that is as opposed to the A-roll, which was the primary footage that you shot for your video. The B-roll is going to be just kind of bonus shots that you can add in throughout your video to illustrate what you're talking about and to add some more visual interest. Now, these are optional, but they're nice to have, and they definitely make your videos more dynamic and will keep your viewers watching longer, which can help your video and your channel to be more successful. At this point, your video will be all filmed and it's time for you to move on to the editing process. So all you need to do here is open your video in your editing software of choice and cut out all of those little mistakes and pauses, etc. Now you also can add some things in, for example, some transitions or some text or possibly some music. But don't add too much in, because the more you add in, the more messy it's likely to get, and the more amateurish, honestly, it's likely to look. So keep things simple, go with a minimalist vibe, and it'll look a lot more professional. By the way, if you're not sure what editing software to use, I'm going to leave links to a couple that I really like, including a free option down in the description below. Once you're done editing your video, it's time to export it. And so this is where you take the finished video out of your video editing software so that you can upload it. Uploading a video to YouTube is really simple. You just need to click the Create button that looks like a little camera with a plus icon on it, and then choose Upload Video, and then there's a guided process that walks you through the steps. Now, you can only do this if you have, in fact, already created a YouTube channel. If not, click up there for a quick tutorial that will walk you through that process. And the final step is to have a little patience and not expect too much. Now, don't get me wrong here. YouTube is an incredible opportunity, and when I say you shouldn't expect too much, that's not because you shouldn't expect your channel to go on to be wildly successful, because it totally can be with the right strategy. But don't expect too much for your first video. I mean, after all, it's your first video, and most experienced creators look back on their first videos and cringe, like really hard, because we make so many mistakes when we are first starting out. We just don't have any sort of perspective to be able to see how things should be to have them actually be good quality. And so it's a learning experience, and that's okay, because that's what everyone goes through. So don't expect too much in terms of the end result for your video, or the results that it creates. Because most of the time, first videos don't get very many views. In fact, it might only get a tiny handful. You can help to kick this off by actually going in and watching your video yourself in your Google account, maybe other Google accounts you have, and help it to get its first few handful of views, which actually can help it to start to take off a little bit. But still, like I said, just don't expect too much. It's okay that not very many people are watching it because it's not your best work. You're gonna do a lot better things in the future, and so it's okay that it will take a little while before your channel starts to get traction. But as far as that goes, that is something you're going to need to learn. What is your strategy for growing on YouTube? What is your strategy for getting views and for getting subscribers on your channel? That's a really big topic and honestly outside of the scope of this video, but I do have a workshop where I teach my complete strategy for growing your channel to 1,000 subscribers and getting it monetized. So be sure to check the description for the link to find out how to watch that free workshop. If you want to see a few more videos from my channel, then check these ones out right here that the algorithm thinks you'll like. And to find out when my next video is released, be sure to click the subscribe button and also ring the bell for notifications. My name is Gillian Perkins. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.